So let's go to Mike right now, live right now. Mike, thanks so much for joining us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We love you so much. Thanks again for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me on. Yeah.
Definitely. So, let's keep that Flashback Friday quickly going for just a bit. There are many times over the years at rallies that you would stand sometimes right next to me or next to some host and just talk about our country and all that. So what was that like for you? And do you miss the rally days a little bit? And we might have more rally days coming up, won't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it was, I've attended over 120 of them, I believe. So yeah, it was a big part of my life. And it's the way with RSBN, I was able to get the word out. A lot of the fake news and a lot of other outlets like Fox and Newsmax would not have me on. The only network that had me on would be RSBN. So it was great when I would get there. I always knew I had a good platform to speak out what was important to our country, and I do miss that. And but I'll tell you what, we're seeing now the manifestation of all the work and all the rallies and getting the word out, especially with when it comes to our election platforms, of getting eventually here to paper ballots hand counted like our president wants. So it's very exciting. And I go all the way back with RSBN. My first rally, I believe, was in, probably 2016, somewhere back in there. And so it's been a long journey.
It has been a long journey, and conservative media has grown by leaps and bounds since 2016. True conservative media out there. A lot of the people resonating with our network, yours, and others out there, because they're just fed up with the bull. That's right.
Right. Yeah. Well, absolutely. What happened, everybody, people forget two very important dates in history is January 7th and 8th of 2021. And why is that? Well, that's the day 1.2 million Americans were deplatformed off Zuckerberg's Facebook, Jack Dorsey's crooked Twitter, and Parler was wiped off the face of the earth. And the president lost 100 million followers on Twitter alone. And we didn't have a voice. We just had the attack media, and then we had your Fox and your Newsmaxes, who I consider them weather channels that won't talk about hurricanes or tornadoes. But when those days happened, the 7th and 8th, our voice went down to a little tiny dot, because if you spoke out about the elections or even the vaccines for that matter, or even Jesus Christ, those are the people that got canceled. Now, the other ones were afraid to speak out because of January 6th. So they almost took our voice away forever. I was with the president about 2-3 weeks ago, and we were sitting there talking about this very thing. And I said, look where we're at now for our voice, for our country. We have all these different social media platforms now, from Truth Social, MyVocal, the Getter, Telegram, Instagram, a different Facebook. I think it's Zuckerberg's a little bit different. You got Elon's X instead of Jack Dorsey's Twitter. So our voice there is expanded, but it's outlets like RSBN, my Lindell TV. Our voice is huge now. You don't just have the non-news coming from Newsmax and Fox and throw Salem Media in that group, the non-news, I call it. And you don't have the fake news anymore, because people see through that. Those are, this just happened to me a couple weeks ago, when we get into talking about it, how they actually put up good pictures of me, and I got a little vindication going on.
and also, let's add Rumble to that mix. I mean, there's just a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Your Rumbles and because for the longest time, YouTube canceled everybody back then, and but then having Rumble now, that is huge, absolutely huge, and so it's our voice. So now, when you hear good things, we can get the word out, and when you hear bad things, we can get the word out. Hey, we got to look at this stuff.
That's so true. And to your point, I want to hear your assessment, Mike, on we're now half of a year into President Trump's second administration. We have 3.5 years to go. We want to see all of these reforms, all of these good things that are happening, be cemented, be locked in for the future, even post-President Trump. But do you think that, I want to get your take on the deep state situation with the Russia hoax and, and prosecutions and that kind of thing. What are your thoughts about that? Have you sounded off a lot about this? I haven't heard.
My thing comes down to one thing. It all comes down to our election platforms. If we don't secure our elections, and the president will tell you this too, it should be the number one concern on everybody's mind. I was with them about, like I say, 3 weeks ago. And I visited him, I think, 4 times now since he's been in the White House, where I've sat down with him. And every time we bring it up, our elections, we need to get to secure elections, paper ballots, hand counted. Over 132 countries have banned electronic voting machines. And if we don't, I promised him just the other day, I said, sir, I promise you, Mike, how's it going with securing getting our elections to paper ballots, which, by the way, he put out an executive order a month and a half ago, but the states aren't following it. So we're fighting him at the ground level again. And you guys, if I promised him, I said, sir, we are not going to let these next 4 years of all the great things you're doing be in vain. I said, and we would be in vain if they take back the Senate or steal back the Senate or House in the midterm. You guys, it's over. This will be just a blip in history going, here's what could have happened. We have a taste now of great things all people do. And right now, and this was a big thing that happened to me just 2 weeks ago that was very key to the future of our election platforms. And I don't even know if you know about this, might be news to a lot of people out there. But about 2 weeks ago, I had my big case in Colorado in May against one of the voting machine companies, and MyPillow won. 100, totally vindicated, which was very important, because if someone said something on news outlets or whatever and got sued, and then the advertisers all got sued, nobody would advertise anymore, right? So that was a big win in Colorado. Now, but the next thing they just won 2 weeks ago, they overturned the $5 million challenge, which said for 3 years now, Mike's evidence is no good. He lost $5 million challenge. We brought it to the 8th District Federal Court in Minnesota, and they overturned it. The odds of that happening are millions to one. Hadn't happened in 40 years. But why is this important? It's so important because now when we're on the ground and stuff, and they can't point anymore and say, oh, Mike Lindell never had any evidence. It was no good. It was no good. And this went out to 58 countries 2 weeks ago. It was the number one story. It was everywhere. And they had, like I say, they had good pictures of me. They didn't have all these things, Mike Lindell conspiracy. even the fake news, there's no other way to spin it. So they had to spin it in a good way. And they all called me up. I said, are you going to somehow write another rotten article about me you've been writing for 4.5 years? And it was very beautiful. And this is going to open up, both those cases open doors that counties and states try and use to close that gap of what the president wants done. So I'm very hopeful. I really believe we're going to have secure elections here. We're going to have the best elections. I believe in the next couple months, you're going to see a lot of stuff coming out of that White House that I know about, and stuff that they're doing from the top down. And then you got us doing from the bottom up. And you guys can all check that out at lindellplan.com. We've got it all laid out there. We're in about a 2-month time span to get this done.
Yeah, it's great. And number 19 out of the 20 core promises has everything to do with what you're saying, is to secure our elections, and it continues on, paper ballots and all of that. So we're going to talk about that quickly. I mean, if you look at the country of Poland, wasn't it 21 million people turn out to vote there? And within 8 hours, they were able to have a clear, concise winner there. So we basically want that kind of model here, right? Something that is
right.
That.
We have, right. I've met with France, Germany, the UK, the Netherlands over these last 3-4 years. We took all of their assets of being paper ballots, hand counted with no machines. We have developed here in the United States, 3 of my teams, all separately, developed 3 of the best hand counting systems the world has ever seen. And 2 of them have been used in elections. One of them was in Osage County, Missouri, in the spring of 22. One was in Texas the last 2 elections. And the other one, I believe, hasn't been used yet, but it's out there to be used. Now, so they can't say to us when we go here, well, we need something to replace it. Here it is. And it's, this was just done in Arkansas, one of our systems just done there. And here's Arkansas. They go ahead and do it. And then Arkansas, they attack them. This is a red state. The Republicans attack them and say, you didn't spend enough money according to our bylaws, because it saves a lot of money. So they went after the county because they don't want to go to paper ballots. And that goes all the way up to the governor. Gee, who's the governor of Arkansas? Sarah Sanders. Shame on you, Sarah. We're trying to secure our elections. So all this stuff is done and all the people want it. You can go, we did a poll in Minnesota. This was done about 2 weeks ago. It just got back. This was the poll. What are your three biggest concerns? This was Democrats and Republicans. This was the people. In the top three on every single demographic that we did, in the top three was secure our elections, go to paper ballots, hand counted. Now you think about that. It's on the people's minds everywhere. They got to trust our elections, but also they know that what happened in 2020 and 2022, and even in 2024, everybody. And so we, I think we're going to get there, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, and so in 2020, some of the mail-in ballots, because of COVID and all that, do you remember seeing the report recently? I think it was John Solomon that reported it, that we found out that China was sending over a bunch of mail-in ballots that were already voted for Biden at the time. Yeah, it's crazy, right?
No, you're exactly right. And I sounded the alarm, everybody, if you all remember, in January of 2021. And what was I saying? China interfered with our election, just like John Radcliffe, the head of the DNI, said it on January 7th of 2021. This is all getting opened up now. By the way, you bring up another point. You got 132 countries that have banned electronic voting machines, but you have over 100 countries that have banned early voting and mail-in voting, okay? So we have the worst election platforms in the world in the United States. But all these things getting revealed now. Do you know, too, that with the China virus, all these states went to and put in all these things illegally, and there was only one attorney general that stuck up for everything, and that was Ken Paxton in Texas, where he fought him and said, no, we're not going to have early voting like Minnesota, have 45 days or have, but all these other states, they did it illegally. The Secretary of State just put this through, and the Congress, the House has these, the state officials, they have to vote for it, not the Secretary of State. So all this was put in illegally because of the China virus. And then here's what's happened, everybody. Only 13 states have returned back to pre-COVID, pre-virus, okay? What that means is all that stuff that was put in illegally in all these states still stands right now. It's horrific, and we're fighting it at every single level. This has to change. We cannot let that moment in history be, just manifest to corrupt elections forever. We have to learn from it. We have to learn, and we have learned from it.
Exactly. And to your point from earlier, I know you can't disclose a lot of information when it comes to what the White House may be working on and your involvement there with that. But I do recall President Trump talking after the Big Beautiful Big Beautiful Bill was signed into law. He said, and coming up next, it's going to be a lot of a bill about, elections and securing elections. So we're looking forward to seeing specifically that major piece of legislation come through. And Mike, what's it like for you to be a part of this right now? You overcome everything that you did in your life, right? You were facing drug addiction. You overcome that. You start this great business that's still kicking serious butt. I love your products. My wife loves your products. But the point is, now you're at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue talking elections with the leader of the free world. Do you realize what you're doing for the people, Mike?
Yeah. It's been surreal, and I give God the glory there. When we became friends in the spring of 2021, and we've talked different, so much then is usually when we talk to Texans as friends, but to be able to go to the White House when I want and meet and say, here we've got problems here and here. They used to say back in the day, in 19 and 20, going, Mike Lindell, advisor to the president. I was never an advisor to him then. I felt like that, don't put out that news and say that I'm that. But, now it's, I actually do go for it, because one thing I feel that I know a lot about is election platforms. That's all I've lived and breathed for 4.5 years, because once you see and know what I know, you're never going to stop. And be able to go to him and just run stuff back and forth. He did say he's coming out with a special prosecutor to go back in time and a team to actually enforce what his executive order he did a couple months ago. And I can tell you this, Tulsi Gabbard, they're coming out with a lot, the next month or so about these elections. This isn't going away. Now, all 2020 will go down in history, everybody, as the most important election in history. And everyone goes, why is that, Mike? Because this is the one that revealed everything. We were boiled like frogs here. It was over, everybody. If we didn't have 2020, if the evil now would look back, they'd go, let's just let Donald Trump win, put up with them and fight him for 4 years, and then we still have the machine. We still have this. We've taken the United States without firing a shot. But that didn't happen. And because of everybody that wouldn't give up. It's been opened up like an onion, and all these things that have went bad were actually good. I do want to say this, that one of my most I'll never forget this. The president and I was last summer. We were sitting together in his office, just the two of us, and he said, I said, sir, all these bad things that are going on are actually good things. And he looks at me like, what? He goes, because he was saying, oh, look, they're destroying our country, Mike. Look at this. And I said, no, it's actually good things. I said, two things are happening. I said, people don't look to God when things are going good. They look to God when things are going bad. And I said, we're in the biggest revival for Jesus Christ in history, jumping into this bucket. And I said, another bucket that's going on, sir, is all these things when they keep attacking you and all these bad things going on, they're jumping into your bucket of common sense. And he looks at me, he says, but Mike, he said, I don't know if we can fix it in 4 years. And I said, sir, with God, all things are possible, and God working through you, you'll get it done faster and better than anyone in history. And you guys I'll tell you, it's been amazing 6 months. Only God working through this great man could have got this done, because, and he knows that too. You've heard him say it. Many of his speeches, we love you, God. We thank you, God. This is, he knows it. We know it. And remember, God's given us grace for such a time as this, because we took God out of our schools. We turned a nation and turned its back on God. And that's where we're at. When I said at the White House in 2020, when I stood on that stage and said, God's given us grace for such a time as this, all I heard the last 4 years is, Mike, this doesn't feel like grace. And I kept saying, oh, but it is. I think people get it now. I think they're starting to get it, that we've got to finish what we started here and secure those elections. Everything comes down to that. We wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for God and for them. But now we've got to make sure that this isn't all in vain.
Amen. 100%. Exactly right, Mike Lindell. Mike, can you talk to us about Colorado? You brought up Colorado before about your case, but let's talk about Tina Peters. Tina Peters in Colorado. Your thoughts about the situation for her? She should be set free. President Trump said it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been working with that. I've talked to the president 3 times about her, at least, maybe more than that. And each time he's in there, he says, he tells the attorneys, let's get her out. But everyone needs to understand, he can't just go and pardon her. We all know that, right? Because it's a state thing. It's very corrupt. Tina Peters, the Gold Star grandma, now Gold Star mom. And, I think she's 70 now. And she did nothing wrong. She's never had a jaywalking ticket in her life. She was approached by county officials back in 2020. It wasn't about the presidential race. It was about the Mesa County race, and said, hey, there's something wrong here. And she says, I'm a good clerk, like every other clerk that we would approach when there's problems, but you can't see inside these machines. Well, anyway, the crimes that were committed in Colorado then by the Secretary of State, Jenna Griswold, and the machine companies, it's so corrupt there, you cannot believe it. Well, they deleted everything in the 2020 election. They deleted it all, called it the trusted bill. Now, our president, what he did lately, when my case was going on in Colorado, on a parallel track, he went after Colorado and said, I want your 2020 records, your 2022 records, and your 2024 records first. So he's going after on that end, going after them. He also, a couple months ago, put out a person of interest statement for Tina. They ignored it, basically. They ignored it. Then, just recently, Now she's went to court, I think it was a week ago, and said, hey, to get out why she's appealing, or during her appeal, she's no threat to society. This is the most bizarre thing, is you got her in there with that judge that was so corrupt and ordered her in, saying, you haven't learned your lesson. You're still out there on your podcast spreading disinformation, because Tina knows what I know, that the elections, you got to get rid of the computers in our elections. Well, anyway, I told the president, when I was there last time, one of the ways that our teams have looked at, our lawyers and stuff looked at a way to get her out, is put her in the federal witness protection program, pull her out. She wouldn't care where she lived, in that prison where they're trying, they want her dead. They do not want her out there being a witness in what's going to be coming, I'll tell you that. So she's in a very dangerous situation anyway. And I hope that the administration, that they will get to that point. I don't know if that would just be one option. I think they're trying a couple other options right now. Maybe the judge will come back now that he's sitting on this and say, hey, I'm going to let you out, waiting for your appeal. And then obviously Tina will probably can find her own place to stay safe, and because she's a big threat to the evil that's out there, and they know it. That's why they put her away for 9 years for doing her job. It's shameful. By the way, everybody, if anybody out there wants to see, when they say there's no evidence, or if you want to know what Tina did when she did her download and backup of her computer, we have it posted on lindelltv.com. It's posted there. You go over and put inside the machines. And like I told the president and those teams, I said, they don't have any records they deleted them all in Colorado. The only record is the Mesa County image that Tina Peter did her job and took a backup. So get yourself a cyber guy. You can have a ball checking that out. But we're all praying for her, and I really believe it's going to happen, God willing, in a very short period of time here. And we can all pray. I believe it's before the judge now, where he can make that decision. But I don't know if it's the same horrible, corrupt judge that sentenced her in the first place. If that's the case, it would be kind of tough.
Right. Well, praying for the captives to be set free in Jesus' name. Mike, I want to shift gears here a little bit. Thanks again for spending the time with us here. Let's talk about something very serious. How great your products are at MyPillow. No, and I'm not kidding. It's great to have you as a sponsor here at Right Side, but also literally, these are really good. The slippers, I wear them sometimes to work, and Robert McNeely and others, they laugh at me. Why are you wearing the slippers? I'm like, they're comfortable, and they're not just for the house. I can wear them out too. So tell us about how MyPillow is doing and all that.
Yeah, well, I will tell you this, everybody. MyPillow is the most attacked company in the history of the world, and by the grace of God, that's the only way we even made it through the last 2 years of getting canceled by the box store, canceled by the shopping channel, canceled by the banks, canceled by vendors. They went after everything. They said, if we can shut Mike Lindell up, if we can't shut him up, let's destroy his company and his employee-owned company and my employees. This has tied me up so much, because I can't, every day is trying to keep my pillow there. And I'll tell you what, your audience, RSBN, has been one of the most amazing audiences that have bought, and people that have bought and kept MyPillow going. I give God the glory, but you still had to have people out there buying our great product. And I'll tell you, every product we have, from our pillows, we've sold 85 million MyPillows. Why? Because they work. You adjust them, you get great REM sleep. Our toppers, our beds, they're all made in the USA. And they actually give you great Delta sleep. So I reverse engineer things to help people. And you got our towels that actually dry you. Towels are what they're made for. And then we've got now these big bath sheets, oversized towels. The slippers, we reverse engineered that. They're made with impact gel that it's like walking on a cloud. You know that. You're wearing them. Nobody has that in their slippers. It costs more, but I'm one of the best product ever. The savings that RSBN, that you guys all get out there using that promo code RSBN, you get the best savings, up to 80% off. Some of the stuff we put up there now to close out is we've had stuff we had to close out that we couldn't carry. We've got stuff that just came in, and we're always struggling what we can buy, what we can't right now because of the cancellation. But we pass the savings on to you, and I'm going to make an announcement right here. You guys today, and I'm going to run it at least till Monday. In fact, I might run it. Let's run it for a whole week. Free shipping on your entire order with that promo code RSBN. Free shipping on your entire order. This is the exclusive. And you guys, because I've actually been with RSBN, I think the longest of any other platform, and we kind of grew together there with the support that you guys have given us. And MyPillow's not going anywhere, but it's because I couldn't have said that a month or a month and a half ago. That big win in Colorado really helped us, and my employees were very relieved. But we still, the MyPillows that we make in my own factory, I watch every day. I can feel I can get through anything. You attack me, they've made me broke and whatever, but with MyPillow, I worry about my employees every day, and so that's why we're offering this great special. I want to say one more thing about MyPillow, you guys. What these evil did out there, the last thing they told the jury in Colorado before they went to deliberate was that attorney, the criminal attorney, he goes, now you all heard Mike Lindell had a net worth of over 60 million, and now he's 10 million in the hole. But we're asking you that you award us $60 million for Mike's defamation here in MyPillow. And he goes, we know it'll probably bankrupt MyPillow, but so be it. We need to send a message to the country that you do not speak out about our elections and put out disinformation. Well, praise the Lord, the jury seen through that, and MyPillow totally vindicated. Awesome. But isn't that something how they've attacked my company? But you guys, you can't, we were here long before this lawfare, and you guys got us through. So free shipping on your entire order, promo code RSBN, and we've got everything. And one of the things too, I haven't been on your show since I tell people, see the cross I wear? We have the crosses like mine, men's and women's. The women's is reversible, mother of pearl look, and like this one, and it's 50% off with that promo code RSBN. 100% made in the USA. And we ran out, but we just got some in, I think, 2 days ago. So, yes, it's been very, very exciting.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome because also when I've ordered your products, that little sheet that has a Bible scripture on it, very encouraging just to see the Bible scripture. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. And Mike, I haven't, I know we've talked a lot on air right here or in person out at various rallies, but I never said this to you. Can you please let your people know at MyPillow, from myself, from my family, and probably many millions of Americans that would agree, tell your workers, thank you guys for making these great products. Just tell them thank you because they are really great products, and it's just awesome to be on the right side of history, ordering from your company, mypillow.com/RSBN. Quite the discount, but also the free shipping's always good, Mike. So, Mike, just
how about do you have the phone number? Do you have the phone number there too? Do you have that phone number for RSBN?
I believe it may be on the bottom of the screen. I can't see the bottom of the screen right now because I'm Okay. Yeah.
Right.
The producer says it has been up. It has been up.
Okay, you guys, with that phone number, these are moms and dads, my employees that work from home, and they love to hear from you guys at RSBN. And you can all personally thank them on the phone when you put in your orders because they've worked hard and they've stayed with it. And even when sales were so down and we were so attacked, they stuck by it. My employees say, you come to MyPillow and it's a career. You're here to stay. And so they appreciate each and every phone call. And if you make sure you tell them the RSBN though to get the free shipping and those big, huge discounts. So
yeah, awesome.
I appreciate coming on. Appreciate all of you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mike, so much. The Go Anywhere pillow is awesome too. But Mike, thank you so much for joining us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Thank you. Thank you. And God bless.
God bless you, Mike. Thank you so much.